After 2 children and 10 years of marriage, she said, "I love you, but I need to feel alive again. Let's open our marriage." I stayed silent, but when she packed a bag for her weekend getaway, she returned to find empty wardrobes and divorce papers waiting on the kitchen table. A decade, that's 2 kids, a mortgage, countless inside jokes, and a million small moments that stitch 2 lives into one. It's watching your son take his first wobbly steps on the lawn you picked out together. It's holding your daughter's hand as she braves her first day of school. It's the quiet comfort of knowing someone so deeply that words aren't always needed. I thought our life was a castle, built stone by stone with shared dreams and sacrifices. I was mistaken. It was a fragile tower, and my wife, Sarah, was about to topple it with one shattering breath. The conversation happened on a mundane Tuesday evening. The kids, Noah, 9, and Emma, 7, were asleep. I was sprawled on the couch, half watching a football game, half checking work emails on my phone. Sarah sat at the other end, unusually still. She'd been off for months, distant, restless. She'd started spending more time with new friends, single women from her Pilates class, who preached about living your truth and embracing authenticity. I thought it was a phase, a way for her to carve out an identity beyond being a mom and wife. I supported it. I was naive. She muted the TV and turned to me, her face serious but her eyes glinting with an unfamiliar excitement. "Ethan," she said, her voice steady, like she'd rehearsed it. "I need to talk to you about something important." I set my phone down. "Okay, what's going on?" She inhaled deeply, as if bracing for a plunge. "I love you," she began, words that should have warmed me but instead felt like a prelude to something cold. "You're an amazing father and a good man, but I feel like I'm drowning. My entire 30s have been about being a wife and mother. I need to feel alive again. I need to feel desired, adventurous. I need to be me." A knot tightened in my gut. I had no clue where this was heading, but it wasn't good. "I've been reading a lot, talking with my friends," she continued, her voice gaining confidence. "And I think I know what we need. I think we should open our marriage." The words landed like a punch, draining the air from the room. Open our marriage. It was a concept so foreign to the life we'd built that it felt like a line from a bad movie. Something that happens to other people, restless, shallow people in distant cities. "You want to see other people?" I asked, my voice flat, trying to grasp the logistics of her proposal. "It's not about seeing other people," she said, slipping into polished therapy speak. "It's about freedom, exploring connections without guilt or secrecy. It could be for both of us. You could have your own experiences too." I glanced around the room, at the framed photos of our kids on the shelf, the frayed spot on the couch where I always sat, the decade of life we'd woven together. And she was suggesting we treat it like a cheap experiment because she was bored. I said nothing, just stared at her. What do you say when the person you vowed to love forever tells you your life together is a cage they want to escape, but only part-time? My silence frustrated her. "Ethan, say something," she pressed, her tone sharpening. "This is me being honest. This is me trying to save us, to bring some spark back before we fade into nothing." I stayed silent. Inside, a storm of betrayal and hurt raged, but outwardly I was stone. I was thinking of the nights I'd stayed up with a feverish Emma, the weekends I coached Noah's soccer team so Sarah could have a break, the promotion I passed up to be home more, the countless sacrifices, big and small, you make for family. And this was my reward, a request for a free pass. She took my silence for weakness, saw it as me being overwhelmed, afraid. She was partly right. I was afraid, but not of losing her. I was afraid of the man I was about to become. She stood, a pitying look on her face. "Look, I know this is a lot," she said, patting my shoulder like I was a child. "Think about it. I'm going away this weekend with the girls, a little getaway. We'll talk when I get back, okay?" She left the room, leaving me in the quiet. Think about it. She thought I'd spend the weekend agonizing, weighing her terms, and probably, pathetically, agreeing to keep her. She had no idea. The man she married, steady, reliable, safe, died in that moment. A new man sat on that couch, one-handed a declaration of war and already planning his counterstrike. 5 days have passed since my wife of 10 years upended our life and left for her weekend getaway. To her, I'm the broken husband waiting at home for her return, ready to negotiate. In reality, I've spent these 5 days executing a plan with surgical precision, a blend of logistical and emotional strategy. Thanks for the support on my first post. It confirmed what I knew. This wasn't a discussion. It was a betrayal. The morning after our talk, Sarah was transformed, light, almost bubbly. She thought she'd won, that she'd planted the seed for her thrilling new life. She packed her bag, humming, kissed the kids goodbye, and told them, "Mommy needs a quick break to recharge." Then she turned to me, her voice dripping with false sincerity. "I'm glad we're talking about this, Ethan. I think this will be good for us." I just nodded. "Safe trip," I said, no trace of emotion. The moment her car left the driveway, I shut my office door and got to work. First call. My lawyer, a sharp one I'd used for business deals. I laid out every detail, no sugarcoating. His advice was clear. establish myself as the stable parent, secure a new home, and file for divorce citing irreconcilable differences, requesting primary custody of the kids. Second call, a real estate agent. I needed a furnished, short-term rental available now, a 3-bedroom in a good school district, ideally with a yard. I told her budget wasn't an issue, but time was. Within hours, she sent 3 options. I picked one, a modern, tidy house 20 minutes away, signed the lease online, and paid the deposit and 3 months' rent immediately. Third call, my sister, Rachel. She's a rock, never liked Sarah, but didn't rub it in. "What do you need?" she asked. I told her I needed her for 48 hours. She was on her way. While waiting, I sat with Noah and Emma. This was the hardest part. I didn't lie, but kept it simple. "Mom and I are having some big problems," I said, my voice calm. "We won't be living together for now. You and I are moving to a new house just for a bit. It'll be an adventure." Noah, sharp as ever, asked, "Is Mom coming too?" "Not right now," I said. Emma's eyes welled up and I hugged her tight. "It's going to be okay," I whispered. "I'm not going anywhere." Rachel arrived and we became a machine. We packed my clothes, books, office, and everything for the kids. Their clothes, toys, posters, glow-in-the-dark stars from their ceilings. I took the photos from the shelf, the kids' artwork from the fridge. We were erasing our presents from the house. Rachel was relentless, holding up items and asking, "Yours or hers?" Mine went in boxes, her stayed. The house felt hollow, a shell of Sarah's things. Her clothes in the closets, her makeup on the counter, her Pilates mat by the bed. A relic of a life already gone. We hired movers for an emergency same-day job. By Saturday evening, 48 hours after Sarah left, we were in the new house. It was bare but ours. Rachel helped set up the kids' rooms first, hanging their posters, making their beds. That night after the kids were asleep, Rachel and I ate pizza off a cardboard box in the empty living room. "You gonna be okay?" she asked. "I will be," I said. "Worry about her, not me." Sunday morning, I returned to the old house. It felt like a crypt, silent, lifeless. I walked through the empty rooms, a stranger in my own past. On the kitchen table, where we'd shared countless meals, I left an envelope with divorce papers, filed by my lawyer, and a handwritten note. "I considered your idea. I want to feel alive too. I choose our kids. I choose my dignity. I choose freedom from this. The house is yours until the lawyers settle it. Don't contact me or the kids. Your lawyer can talk to mine." I left my house key on the envelope, walked out, and didn't look back. I drove to my new home, my new life. Sarah's due back soon, expecting to slip back into her comfortable world, ready to dictate terms. She's about to learn that the man she thought was too weak to leave didn't just leave. He took everything that mattered with him. The end wasn't a single blast, but a series of calculated strikes that obliterated the life Sarah thought she could keep. The past month has been a whirlwind of legal meetings, setting up our new home, and being a steady anchor for my kids. Noah and Emma have been incredible, adapting to our new, quieter normal. Sarah came back from her trip to a house that was no longer ours. The first I heard was a flood of voicemails, starting 2 hours after her flight landed. I'd blocked her number, but they hit my voicemail. My lawyer told me to save them. They swung from fury to desperate pleas. She called me a monster, accused me of stealing the kids, then begged for forgiveness, claiming the open marriage was a fantasy she'd never act on. Just noise from someone learning that choices have consequences. Her reality hit harder when she tried using her credit cards. I was the primary account holder. I'd canceled them the day I moved out. Sarah, a stay-at-home mom by our mutual agreement, had no income. The generous monthly allowance I'd provided stopped. The woman who craved adventure couldn't buy groceries. Her Pilates friends who'd fueled her self-discovery disappeared when the fallout got messy. Their version of authenticity didn't include supporting a broke, distraught single mom. She hired a lawyer, likely with money from her parents. Her lawyer probably saw my income and promised her the house, custody, and hefty alimony. But my lawyer was ready. At the preliminary hearing, Sarah looked drained, avoiding my gaze. Her lawyer claimed I'd acted cruelly, abandoning the home and traumatizing the kids. My lawyer countered with evidence. A signed lease for a stable home in the same school district, paid in full. He filed for temporary primary custody, arguing Sarah had prioritized her personal exploration over family stability, effectively abandoning the kids for her weekend. Her lawyer, flustered, said it was just a girl's trip. My lawyer raised an eyebrow. "Is that what she told you?" I'd hired a private investigator, a move I loathed, but my lawyer insisted on. He'd tracked Sarah's spa weekend. It wasn't with friends, it was with a gym trainer at a boutique hotel 2 hours away. The evidence, photos, receipts was undeniable. The judge's face hardened as she reviewed it. She granted me temporary sole physical custody, gave Sarah supervised visitation twice weekly at a court facility, and ordered her to vacate the house within 30 days, as I owned it outright before the marriage. A financial and custody evaluation was set. In 15 minutes, Sarah's lies crumbled. The final blow came that night. Sarah showed up at my new house, ready to beg her way back. I was out with the kids, getting pizza. Rachel answered the door. Sarah launched into her apologies, tears streaming, pleading for her old life. Rachel cut her off. "He's not here, Sarah," she said firmly. "This is his home now with his kids. You don't belong here." Sarah finally saw it. The home wasn't just walls, it was the family inside. I'd built a new one with those who truly cared for me and the kids. She was a ghost lingering outside a life that had moved on. The divorce is ongoing, but the path is clear. I'll have Noah and Emma, my life, my self-respect. Sarah has her freedom to be alone, broke, and face the consequences of her choices. It's a harsh justice, but one she chose for herself.